Welcome to our deep dive into the world of one-sided love. You know, that place where your heart's invested, but the feelings aren't returned. We're gonna unpack that. Today, we'll explore its key characteristics, common scenarios, and effective ways to cope. Because let me tell you something, dealing with unrequited love, it's a real issue, folks. It can leave you feeling lost, confused, and downright heartbroken. But you don't have to go through this alone. We're here to give you the tools and insights to understand what you're going through and come out stronger on the other side. So, what exactly is one-sided love? Well, it's pretty straightforward. It's when you feel a deep emotional connection with someone, you're invested, you're dreaming of a future together, but they just don't feel the same way about you. They might not even be aware of the intensity of your feelings. This can leave you feeling stuck, constantly questioning yourself, wondering what you did wrong, what you could have done differently. But let me tell you something, it's not about being not good enough. It's about compatibility, timing, and a whole lot of other factors that are often beyond your control. Now, when you're in a one-sided love situation, there's this inherent emotional imbalance. You're giving your all, emotionally speaking, while the other person might be completely oblivious or just not reciprocating that level of intensity. You're analyzing every text, every interaction, searching for hidden meanings, signs that maybe, just maybe, they feel something too. But this constant overthinking, this emotional roller coaster, it's exhausting. And here's the thing about one-sided love, it often leads you down a dangerous path, the path of fantasy versus reality. You start building up this idealized image of the other person in your mind. You imagine this perfect relationship, this deep connection, but the reality is it's all in your head. You're projecting your desires, your hopes onto someone who may not even be capable of fulfilling them. And that's a tough pill to swallow. Chapter 4. Heartache and Frustration. Look, let's not sugarcoat it, one-sided love hurts. It's a recipe for heartache and frustration. You're constantly yearning for something that's not there, something that may never be there. The rejection, even if it's not explicitly stated, can be a real blow to your self-esteem. You start questioning your worth, wondering why you're not good enough. And that's when things can spiral. Chapter 5. The Friend Zone. Now, a classic example of one-sided love is the dreaded friend zone. You develop feelings for a friend, you cherish their company, you crave their attention, but they just see you as a buddy, someone to grab a pizza with, not someone to build a life with. It's a delicate situation because you value their friendship, you don't want to ruin it, but at the same time, those unrequited feelings, they can eat you up inside. Chapter 6. Crushes from afar. Then there are those intense crushes, the ones where you might not even know the person that well. Maybe it's someone you see every day at the coffee shop, a classmate, or even a celebrity. You build them up in your mind, create this whole narrative around them. But the reality is, they're practically a stranger. You're in love with an idea, an image, not a real flawed human being. And you know, one-sided love doesn't just happen outside of relationships. Sometimes it creeps into committed partnerships. One partner might be deeply in love while the other is emotionally checked out, distant. They might stay together out of obligation, fear, or inertia, but that lack of reciprocation, it creates a breeding ground for resentment, loneliness, and heartbreak. Chapter 8. So, how do you deal with the pain of one-sided love? Well, the first step is acceptance. Accept that your feelings are valid, but also accept that the other person doesn't feel the same way. Don't try to force it. Don't try to change their mind. It's not about convincing them to love you. It's about respecting their feelings and their choices. Chapter 9. Once you've acknowledged the situation for what it is, it's time to set some boundaries. This might mean creating some distance between you and the other person, at least for a while. Unfollow them on social media. Avoid situations where you're likely to see them, and resist the urge to constantly check their online activity. You need to protect your heart, your emotional well-being. Chapter 10. Now, in some cases, expressing your feelings to the other person can be helpful. It can provide closure, a sense of release. But go into it with no expectations. Don't expect them to suddenly reciprocate your feelings. And if they react negatively, if they dismiss your emotions, know that it's a reflection on them, not you. One-sided love can be deeply painful, but it's also an opportunity for growth and self-discovery. It's a time to reflect on your needs, your desires, and what you truly want in a relationship. Over time, moving on and opening yourself up to mutual connections can lead to healthier and more fulfilling relationships. You deserve a love that's reciprocated, a love that sets your soul on fire. Don't settle for anything less.